Hey everyone, welcome back to Blurred Lines, Crime, Conspiracy, and the Truth Behind the Gossip. Now, you guys may notice the start to this episode is a little bit different. I'm actually currently looking for music that I can use, so if you guys have any suggestions or if you write little tunes, mysterious, blurred lines, crime, conspiracy type of tunes, let me know. Send me an email to ashtootrippy@gmail.com and we can talk about it. I'm just really looking for something to where I'm not going to be getting any kind of copyright strikes over on my YT channel. I have been getting those even though I am crediting the sound producer in all of my episodes that I post on here. So if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. If you guys are somebody that creates something like that, also let me know. I would love to talk more to you. Welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me. I know I've had a couple weeks off, but I am starting to swing around with things. My grandfather passed away a few weeks ago. I have been dealing with not only my grieving, but also that of my kids, and I just need a little bit of time to kind of take away from this for a little bit. I know that he is very proud of me and I want to continue doing what makes me happy, and that's what he always wanted, so that's what I'm going to continue to do. So today is our updates podcast for Blurred Lines. If you guys are new here, hey, my name is Ashtootrippy, and we talk about things that blur the lines between crime, conspiracy, and gossip. And we talk about for our updates podcast, we basically talk about new true crime things that are going on around the world. I kind of try to put things out there that maybe other people have not ever seen or heard of, but we do talk about a lot of things that you may have heard of or that are taking the news by storm, because I like to get into those things as well and hear your guys' opinions and give you guys my opinions on them as well. But we also talk about things on social media, gossip, things that are going around reality TV, things like that. And I am going to give you guys a few cases today, but we are also going to do our trash talk segment as well. So stay tuned, guys. We are packed for this episode because I want to give you all the information that I have and some. So buckle up and let's get ready to dive deeper into those blurred lines. All right, the first case I want to talk about today is, now I know this has been in the news for quite some time now, but I wanted to talk about it because it is so astounding and I want to bring awareness to this. This is something that I have a passion in bringing awareness to, is to protect our children and protect the people that cannot think for themselves and cannot do for themselves. So that's one of my big things I'm doing on the podcast as well. So if you guys haven't heard, this woman from Waterbury, Connecticut, held her stepson captive for 20 years. Yes. So this was brought to the authorities' attention after a fire had started at the residence where the woman, whose name is Kimberly Sullivan, was found outside the residence with a dog. She had stated to the authorities that her stepson was still inside. This woman's stepson is a 32-year-old man who has not been identified as of me recording this. He was rescued from the home and he had admitted to starting the fire, stating that he wanted his freedom and alleged that his stepmother had kept him locked in a room for 22 hours at a time, and he survived on 2 cups of water a day and 2 sandwiches a day. And I want to preface this by saying the sandwiches were only sometimes, and they weren't sandwiches to my understanding. They were mainly just bread. The man was extremely emaciated. He was only weighing 68 pounds when he was taken to the hospital, and he also showed signs he had not showered in some time, as well as he had never been to the doctor or a dentist. And he explained he started the fire using a lighter, hand sanitizer, and some paper from a printer. Now, can you imagine that? 68 pounds. My 9-year-old son is about at that weight, and he is a child. He's like 4 foot something. So can you imagine a grown 32-year-old man being only 68 pounds? It's just horrific. Pictures of the home have been released, and the home was not only dirty but in complete disarray. It's not said where this man was locked in, because they took pictures of the home. He was rescued from the kitchen. Again, he was locked in the room for up to 22 hours a day, but that wasn't the only place he was able to go. He still, to my understanding, was roaming throughout the house. Kimberly Sullivan, who is the stepmother, has been maintaining her innocence in all of this. She's been booked in, but later posted bail of $300,000 and is now free until her trial, as she has pled not guilty to kidnapping and felony assault charges. Now, isn't that insane that somebody can actually get that bail amount to get out of prison, but yet neglect somebody that is within their care and not feed them or clothe them or take them to the doctor properly? Now, that just blew my mind. Also, I want to throw in here as well, the 32-year-old man, who again has not been identified, stated that, while he is identified, but they have not released his name. So he has also stated that he is very concerned that she is now out, and it is very troubling to him. The man's father had passed away in 2024, and the man has alleged that this all got worse when this happened. He has seemed to be very vocal about his experiences, even though he has not been identified through the media, like I stated. He also stated the last time he went out of the home was when he was around 15 or 16 years old. The man's biological mother has spoke out and stated she gave him to his father when he was a toddler and never could have imagined he was living this way. She also stated that her and her daughter had searched for him for years to no avail. She stated that she hopes Kimberly rots in hell, quote unquote, for what was done to her son, and stated she could not understand what would make someone do that to another human being. So the mother, basically, it sounds like, the son, for whatever reason, as a toddler, was left with the father. The mother, Kimberly Sullivan, is basically stating that the father treated him this way as well, and she just continued it. She's made, this statement in court, but she hasn't made any kind of like public, this is what happened. But she maintains her innocence, and we'll kind of see where this goes. I do see her facing some kind of charges as long as she doesn't flee the country, because again, she's out on bail as of right now. I just want to add this tidbit, and I'll be adding it into the show notes as well. If you ever suspect any kind of child abuse, call the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline at 1-800-4-A-CHILD or 1-800-422-4453. Or you can also go to www.childhelp.org. All calls are toll-free and confidential. The hotline is available 24/7 in more than 170 languages. So if you ever suspect something, or if you ever see something, please say something, especially when it comes to children. All right, now this one's short and sweet because I don't want to give this girl too much of a platform, but Sherri Pipini is back in court for a child visitation battle. Now, if you guys don't remember who Sherri Pipini is, she is the woman that basically faked her own disappearance, and she did a lot of crap to her family, and there is a awesome documentary over on Hulu about this. I think it's called The Perfect Wife or something like that. I highly recommend you guys to watch this, and you guys will understand a little bit more why she should not have any kind of control of her kids. But on March 21st, the California mother who had pled guilty to her charges related to faking her kidnapping 6 years prior is now back in court and fighting for her now ex-husband for custody rights of their 2 children. She stated to the court, "For 8 years, our family has been followed, stalked, harassed, and bullied by the media. I have done my best to stay private, to focus on my children and healing from the events that transpired. For many years after my arrest, I was the primary caregiver of our children before serving my time in prison. My children have always been my primary focus. So she said this in when she was in court, and honestly, your actions don't show it, girl. Like, you can really, because she was also abusing her children. If you guys don't know, she was like putting like alcohol soaked towels around their neck to get them like lightheaded and dizzy. And there was just things that came out later on about what she was doing to her children prior to faking her kidnapping. And it was just very concerning. You know what I mean? And I just don't think she should be around any children, much less her own anymore. But I digress. Pipini is asking to see her children again after an 8-year saga that's gained her a lot of press attention. She also participated in a new Hulu documentary with her ex-husband, whose name is Heath Pipini. I'm sorry, Keith. I don't know why I put Heath. Keith is fighting to shelter the pair's children from their mother, as stated in the documentary. Her kids have alleged that Sherri was abusing them by making them inhale alcohol fumes, among other disturbing things. Just as a reminder, Sherri had gone missing in 2016, and the federal law enforcement team spent years on her case, only to find out that she was with her ex-boyfriend during 3 weeks she went missing for, and she had lied and stated that she was abducted by 2 Hispanic females. We have some racism in there. Later that year, she took a plea deal and admitted her guilt in one count of mail fraud and the charge of lying to a federal officer. She was sentenced to 18 months in prison, but released in 2023 after about 11 months behind bars. So she did serve a little more than half of the time she was given, but in my opinion, she was not given nearly enough time before putting so many resources and so many things. It was crazy. Like, if you guys have not seen that documentary on Hulu, I highly recommend you to go and see it, because it literally gives you a perspective of what was going on with her husband Keith, their kids, their family, and then what exactly she was doing with this ex-boyfriend for, what was it, 3 weeks? 3 weeks, including beating the shit out of herself. So if you haven't seen that, I highly recommend you go watch it. But she's trying to get custody or visitation rights, not custody, visitation rights of her 2 children. And again, I just hope she doesn't get this, because the things that the children were saying she was doing are just not okay. Not okay as a mother. Again, my opinion, but no, just a whole lot of no going on there. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about this, and I'm going to drop you some resources that you guys can go look at. One of my friends over on Instagram and TikTok, Conspiracy, has been covering this a little bit in depth, but I just kind of have a blanket statement of what's going on with, I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but the Texas track meet stabbing. Yes, so the suspect Carmelo Anthony and Austin McCaff, they were actually competing in the State University Interscholarship League's District 11-5A championship meet, and this was at Kayakendall Stadium in Frisco, Texas, when an altercation between the two turned deadly. Yes, deadly. Anthony has been charged with first-degree murder and is currently being held in Collins County Jail on a $1 million bond. His attorney is asking for it to be reduced, as he's claiming a self-defense in a stand-your-ground state. So if you guys don't know what stand-your-ground means, it's basically if you kill somebody and you felt threatened in some way, shape, or form, basically, not that it's legal, but it gives you kind of that upper hand as long as there's stuff. And I just want to reiterate this. I did kind of just a solid overview on this case, but I am going to leave down below in the description section where you can find a little bit more information, but this is just kind of the cut and dry of where it's at currently as I'm recording this. So there has been an online fundraiser to support Anthony, the Texas high school student claiming self-defense, and he has raised, and when I was doing my research on this, it was almost $150,000. I do believe it has reached about 225,000 because they do have a few people speaking out on their behalf for this, as they are stating it is a racial self-defense claim. That's my understanding right now. His family has stated that the narrative being spread is false, unjust, and harmful. Anthony's attorney stated, "I know my client said it was self-defense. I don't have any reason to believe that, but to disbelieve that, sorry. I don't have any reason to disbelieve that, but I need to develop facts, talk to people, and figure out what's going on before I make any statements about what I think happened," which is a very smart attorney. But he stated, "I don't have any reason to think it wasn't self-defense at this time." Anthony told police he did stab Metcalf, but says that Metcalf put his hands on him first, according to Fox 4 News. Anthony also reported asking police whether what he did could be considered self-defense. Austin Metcalf was a junior at Memorial High School in Frisco, Texas. He was stabbed in the chest, and the altercation was reportedly a seating dispute as the teams waited for the delayed competition to begin. His dad has made a statement saying he was the light of his life and reporting he died in his brother's arms, who desperately tried to stop the bleeding from the boy's chest. They also wanted to set the record straight and stated it is not a racial or a political issue, and despite their grief, he has chosen forgiveness for Anthony. Whatever comes of this, both families have something taken from them, and all I have to say is you never know someone, even teenagers. This kid could have been super hateful when his parents were not looking or ignored it, and vice versa with them both. The fact of the matter is he felt it was self-defense, what he did, Metcalf. So the fact of the matter is, if he felt it was self-defense, what did Metcalf have and threaten him with? So I wrote this. Again, I haven't really deep dive into this case. Again, I'll leave some resources for you. But to my understanding, if you're claiming self-defense, it has to be like a physical threat to your life. So my question is that did this Austin Metcalf, did he have something that was threatening to Carmelo Anthony? Now, I don't know the laws exactly, but I can tell you that even in a stand your ground state, if they do not see that there was any threat at that moment, it could be taken a different way, and that might be where it's going. I know there's videos that have also come out from that track meet, and there's stuff that's going around, and a lot of people are saying it was racially motivated. Even though Austin Metcalf's family states that it was not racially motivated and nobody should be talking about that, I don't know. I see this in a different perspective, and I really feel like no hate towards this, but I feel like they're trying to play the race card to save, them. But again, these are children, these are high school students, and somebody needs to be held accountable for what took place. And unfortunately, since Austin Metcalf is no longer alive, Carmelo Anthony is the one that's taking the blunt of that. But hopefully there are videos that come out, because everybody has a cell phone now, so there has to be some video evidence of this taking place. Again, I'll leave some resources down below, but I haven't, that's just kind of my opinion on what I've seen in doing some research and stuff like that, because I don't know. We'll see where this one goes. All right, now this is a case I don't know if anybody even knows about. I haven't seen many people talk about it, but I came across it and I was like, oh my God, I need to talk about this case. So I don't know if you guys heard about it. It's Rachael Morins. She was a Maryland mother of 5. She was killed while she was jogging. So Morin was reported missing on August 5th of 2023. So this did happen a couple years ago, about a year ago, year and a half. But she was reported missing by her boyfriend, who stated that she never returned after going out for a run on the Ma and Pa Trail, a pedestrian trail in Bel Air, a quiet, typically safe town about 28 miles northeast of Baltimore. Her body was found near the trail the next day on August 6th. DNA evidence linked to Martinez Hernandez, as his DNA was found in Los Angeles home invasion that turned violent. So this guy, whose last name is Martinez Hernandez, they did find DNA evidence at the scene of Rachel's murder that was actually originally found in a Los Angeles home invasion. And basically it was violent. He injured a 9-year-old and her mother. He had allegedly broke into the home in the middle of the night and assaulted the family inside before he was chased out. Now there is surveillance video footage capturing the man leaving shirtless through the front door of that crime. Now, Rachel's body was found by community members where they discovered a blood trail that was 150 feet long. Martinez Hernandez is accused and facing a trial that began on Friday, April 4th. He is 25. He's accused of raping and killing Morin, who was a mother of 5 children. The trial is taking place in Bel Air, Maryland, and his full name is Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez. And he's, like I stated before, he's a 23-year-old from El Salvador. So he's one of those immigrants from El Salvador that is causing a ruckus over here for no apparent reason, in my opinion, honestly. Morin's body was found at the end of a flattened blood trail with her right shoe and sock left on, and her left shoe and sock had been discarded. Her bra had been pulled up over her breasts, and evidence has shown that the brutal assault had taken place between 7:04 a.m. and 7:10 a.m. So not too long, it seemed like, since she had actually been out on her run. Authorities discovered her phone submerged in water, and it was completely shattered, along with her destroyed Apple Watch. And then nearby, they also found her Apple AirPods. Her autopsy results revealed that Morin had endured 15 to 20 blows to the head and had died from a combination of strangulation and blunt force trauma. Her death was officially ruled a homicide. So think of it this way. So she did get blows to her head, but since there is a strangulation combination of death, she was still alive through all of those blows that she was getting to the head, and essentially everything together killed her. That's just so sad to me. I mean, this was a mother of 5 that was just going on her normal everyday run. It's insane. Her body bore bruises around her neck, and as I stated before, the DNA profile was present and linked to Martinez Hernandez on June 14th of 2024. Authorities pinged his phone, and it responded to a bar in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He eventually admitted his identity after initially lying to the police and providing a false name. His attorney is claiming there will be a reasonable doubt and stated the state has the burden of proof even with the DNA evidence. Good luck with that. They also claim that since the two were strangers and appeared to lay the groundwork to cast suspicion on her then boyfriend, Richard Tobin. Richard Tobin, basically they're stating that they want him to be looked at more. He has been cleared and has never been accused of wrongdoing, and he was actually the one that reported her missing to begin with. So to my understanding, they always look at that first. So I think they're just grasping at straws. Of course, they're his attorney. They're going to try to get him off. But we're going to continue to follow this as the trial continues for this horrific crime that took a mother from her children and one of a woman's worst fears come true. But we'll continue following that and give you some more information. Hopefully he goes away for a long time. Honestly, I hope so. All right, so enough of the heavy stuff, and I know I'm a little bit behind, guys. I know some of these cases you guys have probably heard. Other than the Rachael Morins, even though it took place in 2023, I think that it was important to hear a case that somebody was actually getting charged for this and they found who did it. I just think it's super important to follow those cases. But we're gonna get into some of the gossip, and I'm gonna start my gossip segment with the Caitlyn and Tyler drama. If you don't know who Caitlyn and Tyler are, they are the teen parents from 16 and pregnant that gave their daughter up, Carly, for adoption. Now, they're facing drama right now. Their adoptive daughter, Carly, has a leaked video of her singing in church, and I 125% blame Caitlyn and Tyler for this taking place, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. They've been facing the backlash yet again because this is one of many. They've been talking about this whole adoption thing and making it their whole persona for a very long time. But there is a leaked photo and video of their adoptive daughter, Carly, who they gave up for adoption in 2009 to Brandon and Teresa. Recently, they've been talking a lot about the decision for Brandon and Teresa to now close the adoption and not share any information with Kate or Tyler. And this is not known if it's Carly's decision or her parents, but either way, Kate and Tyler, they're not taking it very well, with endless posts on social media as well as talking about it endlessly on their new podcast they currently have going. So if you guys don't know, they have a podcast now on Kale Lowry's network of podcasts, and they literally, that's their whole persona on their podcast so far. It's also become their persona on their social media platforms as well. They go and try to debunk things and they fight about it and all of this stuff publicly, which for them to say that this is not them is absolutely absurd in my opinion. Tyler has posted that he is disappointed to see that the quote unquote haters are the ones that leak this information. However, in my opinion, I believe one of their fans did this to basically give Tyler and Caitlyn information, and in their mind they think that it's okay as it was a video found online on YouTube for the church she attends. And of course, for this reason, we blame them. And I honestly hope that Brandon and Teresa do this as well, as far as blaming Kate and Tyler for this, because they do not let go. And they've made it this whole basis of their story they tell. They have also done this with disregard to Carly's parents who are raising her, and they don't realize they have no say in what they gave up for adoption. So they were treating this adoption more like, in my opinion, they were treating it more like a co-parenting scenario than an adoptive situation. And I fully believe that's why Brandon and Teresa decided to just, clean their hands of it in a way, because honestly I feel like it was affecting their daughter as well, and they made that decision for their daughter. Now there is new things that have come up where why can't I say his name? Tyler has come out on social media stating that he now knows for a fact that it's Brandon and Teresa that are making this decision for Carly, because he says that she doesn't really have a usable cell phone, and that she has asked about them in the past and she's heard things and stuff like that. He's heard things and stuff. So I don't know what's true and what's not, but honestly, leave that little girl alone. Let the parents that you gave her up to try to raise her the best that they know how to, and stop posting videos of minors. Everybody's giving this scenario that, oh, it's online, so it's fine. No. Brandon and Teresa have been really open about the fact that they don't want their child on a TV show or social media. So why not just respect that? And I don't know why Tyler or Kate don't see that they are the ones fueling this. It's not haters that are posting this. It's their fans that are posting it because they think they're doing something to help Caitlyn and Tyler, because that's all they talk about. That's all their whole persona is, right? No matter what your thoughts are on this, the facts are that Kate and Tyler don't think their story with their current children will fly with MTV and production, so they're going to continue and try and exploit their adoption story as long as it's paying the bills, of course, solely in my opinion. But I know a lot of people who like this with them as well, and they're not being held to high enough standards in their mind. They need way more therapy so this does not affect their children currently like they're affecting Carly. I think also their toxic family situations that they continue going back to and not breaking the cycles of that is also affecting them and their children. And it's going to affect them and their children. And I've said it before, wait till they are raising a teenager and they will know exactly how it is. But in my opinion, the photo that had been leaked was a photo with Carly and Teresa, and it looked like a profile picture for Facebook. So if she is able to take a Facebook picture, which it looked like she was taking it, like a selfie with her mom, she's well aware and well able to get online and probably knows exactly what's going on. And if she doesn't do it herself, her friends certainly do. Supposedly she goes to like a private Christian school and stuff like that, and they knew this about her. Their adoption agency was a Christian adoption agency, so they knew all this stuff was going to come. And people can argue and say they were only 16 and all of this stuff, but they did have guidance. They did have adults there, aside from Caitlin's mother and Tyler's father. Mother was helping them. They had a lot of help. They weren't like Kale Lowry, where and I don't really like Kale, but just using her as an example, she kind of had to do all of this on her own with a little bit of help from her baby daddy's parents. You know what I mean? So Caitlin and Tyler did have a lot of support, and they did have a lot of time to ask questions and to understand it. And I will still stand behind the fact that I always say that if you go back and rewatch that 16 and pregnant episode, Tyler is 100% pressuring Kate into doing this. And Kate's excuse is like, oh no, like, I'm able to make my own decisions as an adult, but yet she wasn't an adult back then. So it's kind of questionable, but no, whatever way you want to spin that, it's not right. They need to find their own storyline and drop the whole adoptee little gig they have going on for basically just the camera for MTV. That's why they're doing it. At the end of the day, if they don't have that, they know MTV will drop them like they drop everybody else. So again, that's my opinion. Now, I know I told you guys this was going to be a longer episode just because I'm super excited to be back with you guys, but I want to go into some trash talk right now. And trash talk, true crime, blurred lines, we're here. I want to talk a little bit about Gypsy Rose. Yeah, you guys know that's my favorite subject, right? For sure. I'm obsessed, as the haters say online. And when I say haters, I truly mean haters, because I don't hate the girl. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. I do not hate the girl. I do not wish ill on her. I really hope she'd get her shit together, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Psychopaths really do. But anyways, I've been watching her show, and we are 5 episodes in of Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup, and all I got to say so far in this season is it's boring. We seen all this stuff when it happened on social media last year. It's boring. A lot of people are trying to make connections in timelines, and I'm here to tell you can't. Lifetime has produced a reality dramatized fictionalized TV show, and they will mess up timelines. So don't follow that, first of all, okay? Please don't. The show is very contradictory, and it's just proving a lot of Gypsy's lies that we seen last year. So if you don't remember, last year she was pregnant with her daughter that she now has, and there was paternity tests, there was baby showers, gender reveals, there was a lot of things that were happening during that time. And this last episode, we hear that Ken is just super frustrated with the way that she handles and looks at social media. And we've talked about this before. I've talked about this on my TikTok before, and we know that she has always tried to be an influencer, and for a little bit she kind of dropped it. She was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'll be gone. I'm deleting this in 2 to 3 months. Like, she said this like 4 or 5 times already. But she's back at it again, trying to be an influencer, trying to debunk stuff, but she's just making herself look even worse. So the first thing she tried to do on her TikTok account was she tried to explain the microdeletion disorder that she has. And everything she said in that video shows that she didn't do any research, and that somebody literally just said, hey, just say this stuff. And I'm pretty sure it was her friend Bree who she went live with to watch this last episode, because it sounded a lot about the nonsense that she was talking. She explained how her mom used it as a blueprint, even though that disease wasn't even discovered until 2008. But yeah, so she has been trying to debunk a lot of that stuff, and there's just, every time she talks, she makes it look weirder. But in the start of this season, the one main thing is like, she's like, I want people to see I'm more than just the girl that killed her mom. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not going to be possible. No, it's not. Now, I want to ask you guys, would you guys be interested in me doing a deep dive on Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her case of killing her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard? I would definitely love to do it and put it together. It would probably be more than a one-parter. It'd probably be about 3 or 4 parts because there's so much to this story and this case. But I really want to put something out that's factual, that somebody can listen to and say, oh, okay, we have all the facts here and we know them. I also recently got the new FOIA requests as what the FOIA requests basically are, because a lot of people are confused about it, is basically the documents that were being held just in case Nick Godejohn, her co-defendant, got either a new trial or paroled. So now that he has exhausted all of his parole hearings, which I still don't know if he's gotten any kind of, I believe he was denied again, but everything is now released to the public. So all the text messages from every platform that they can find, from the phones, things that were found during the investigation, people they talked to, all of that stuff is now available to everyone. And there's some bombshells that are in there. I would highly recommend you guys check out my YouTube channel where I go into a little bit more. And if you guys want that deep dive, let me know. Send me an email, ashtootrippy@gmail.com, or comment wherever you're listening to this podcast, and I can do that. But there's just a lot of things going on right now with her that I think are just out there just to plan and see how maniacal she actually is, and see that there's so many lies that not even her family, I think, realize are still hidden within this story. It's insane. It's crazy. And in my opinion, I do believe she is a psychopath that was born a psychopath. And I think that that's never going to change, even with the most therapy in the world. That's not something she's going to be able to change overnight or within the next 5 years or 6 years or 10 years, because people know her for the simple fact that she killed her mother. She plotted with a grown autistic man for over 2 years, sent him instructional videos to kill her mother because she claimed her mother was abusing her, which now that's come out that her mother was not abusing her. Her mother was trying to figure out what was wrong with her daughter. And in turn, in my opinion, her daughter was actually abusing her, and it was vice versa. So I don't know. I also kind of have a plan of exposing Munchausen syndrome by proxy survivors and the actual disease of Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Because if you guys don't know, you can't diagnose somebody after they're dead with a mental disorder like Munchausen syndrome by proxy or fictitious disease disorder on another, is what they call it now. It's interesting to me, and I would love to do that as well. So if you guys have any suggestions, or if you know somebody that's been officially diagnosed with it, I'd love to hear from you. Send me an email, ashtootrippy@gmail.com, and I would love to speak with you. There's really nothing more I want to go over, guys. There's a lot of other stuff going on Trash Talk, but we'll get to it next week because it can seriously wait. I don't want you guys to sit here for hours listening to a podcast, even though I know it's kind of convenient sometimes. I know how it is to feel like I'm rambling, and I already feel like I am. But if you guys have any case suggestions or have any recommendations for me, I'd love to hear them. Send me an email, ashtootrippy@gmail.com, or comment on wherever you're listening to this on, or you can always send me a DM to my Instagram or my TikTok channel, which is Ashtootrippy. I'll be sure to look at those, guys. But I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I hope to see you guys next week, where we will be doing a deep dive on Friday, and you guys will get this podcast on Thursday, like always, for our updates. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Stay positive, stay awesome, and we'll talk about it next time, guys. Bye.